with this show is that the man that we're following is named Ptolemy Gray. He's losing his memory because he's got severe Alzheimer's, right? And when I say severe, it's like he can have a conversation and then literally halfway through the conversation, he is not even there no more. You know what I'm saying? And it's not his fault. And really and truly, the way they depict it is really cool because it's not like he's not there. It's just his mind and his memories are so jumbled up that like one little sound is like taking him back to when he's a child and he's having visions of his Uncle Coy dog who's been dead since he was, a little boy, stuff like that. So he's having all these visions and memories, but it's all jumbled up and nothing really makes sense, and it's very disorienting. It's very confusing because you don't exactly know how much time is passing between him doing stuff. And I'm not gonna lie, the first episode is just gut-wrenching, dog, because no one's really coming to look out for my guy. He doesn't have anybody. He lives like a hoarder. It's really gross. Like, toilet stopped up. All this nigga eats is cans of beans. We don't even know how much he's really been eating during this time. The only person that comes and looks out for him is his little nephew, Reggie. He's not so much a little nephew, he's a big boy, but you know what I'm saying. I forget all the movies he's played in, but yeah, his nephew Reggie is really a solid dude. Like, he's got his own family and he's got problems going on with that, but he's the one person in the family that's been coming to check up on his uncle, right? And so he takes him out and he takes him to go to the bank. He takes him to all these different places that he needs to go. And if he didn't come there, honestly, like, he wouldn't be long for this world, because really and truly, he is well past the point in which you should be put into the home. Like, let's be honest, or at least have someone coming to see you every day, home healthcare type stuff. But clearly times are tough, and that requires money, and the insurance is heavy, all that stuff. And he gets checks that are coming to him every week or every month or whatever, right? But the issue is that he doesn't even know how much money he's got, because obviously he can't even remember like 30 minutes from now, let alone like 5 minutes from now. So it's like, he's honestly helpless, dog. It's like he is literally a child he's an adult trapped in like with like a child's mind state, simply because he can't access what he needs to. It's like, I'm sure it's there and I'm sure it's so frustrating and he knows, but it's just like, and it's gone. And it's crazy because he has these little moments of clarity when he's talking to his family and stuff like that, and then all of a sudden it's like, it's gone. You know what I'm saying? So it's a really tough thing to watch. But so Reggie takes him out, and they go and have a whole day, and you really get a feel for their relationship. And it seems like Ptolemy kind of raised Reggie, so to speak, you know what I'm saying, when he was younger, and really looked out for him. So feels like he's kind of returning the favor, stuff like that. And it's really sweet. It's really nice. I mean, Reggie is a solid dude, man. Like, no question about it. And then it's wild because, he goes back home, everything's normal, and he literally has to like remind him multiple times to lock the door. It was hilarious when he first came because he had to have this whole 5-minute conversation, because Ptolemy had obviously had the door locked, but he didn't know who's out there and in front of his door. He could look, he ain't gonna know who it is. But he has this whole little 5-minute banter with him about, well, how am I gonna prove it's me? Well, what did I say that Reggie should say? It's like, it's so ridiculous. But the next time that Reggie's supposed to come, he's not there, and then, bro, it's so sad because Ptolemy, he eats all his food, and then once that happens, he's so confused and he doesn't know what's going on. That obviously means that Reggie hasn't been there in some time, because he said he's normally there between every second or third bean can, which is like every 2-3 days, something like that, right? So it seems reasonable. And he had finished like 8 cans of beans, 8-9 cans, and ran out of food. And then he starts calling out for Reggie, and he's disoriented and he doesn't know what's going on, and he's crying out for him. And bro, it's so sad. And like I said, Samuel L. Jackson is a big time actor. For those of you who don't know, who are asleep and just thinks he's the snakes on a plane guy, like, reevaluate, okay? Reevaluate, because this man has chops. He has chops, and that's what I have to shout out to Apple TV for more than anything. And they're doing it for different people at different levels, let's be clear. But like the way they're giving shine to people who don't normally play the main character roles and letting them really, you know, make it their own and step up and prove that they actually have some skin in the game when it comes to this acting shit. Like, yeah, I gotta respect Apple for that. Like, y'all are doing y'all's thing with that, you know. Adam Scott, Samuel L. Jackson, even Jason Momoa and see that show is actually going crazy. A lot of wild stuff with that, but Severance is dope. Adam Scott goes crazy in that. But with this, Ptolemy, it's just so cool because I don't know how Samuel L. could play this character if he didn't actually know someone in real life. Or like, cause you can go do research all you want, bro. But unless you like live with somebody that's like that, or at least are going to visit them regularly, you don't quite understand that slippage. It's like, it's for real. It's noticeable. And the place that they start at compared to where they get to, it's like, it's hard to watch. And it's crazy because you can be like, you're not an invalid, you're not completely helpless, but when you get that confused that you don't even know where you are, you can't even recognize what home you're in or what face you're seeing and stuff like that, it's like, it's too much to handle. So next time, and you know, he's falling asleep under chairs on the floor, like, it's really sad, really sad. And then like the next day, someone knocks on the door and it's a kid named Hilliard. Now Hilliard is his niece's son, right? Niecy's son. That's her name. It's Niecy, right? I guess that's his niece. And her son comes to pick him up. He's like, must be like probably 18, something like that. Just a punk ass nigga, okay? There's no other way to say it. This dude is a delinquent, a degenerate of the highest order. And honestly, I don't know why. I don't know why he's still living in his mama house, stuff like that. But he looked like a character straight out of Baby Boy. Okay, let's keep it real. And he's like, hey, I'm here to take you. Like, and he's probably probably hadn't been over there in years type shit. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. So he's taking him out, taking him around. He takes him to the bank after a little incident because they had a little run-in with the cops. Obviously, in areas like that, you know, police harassment is a normal thing. It's like that. But they kind of get out of it with not too much of a hassle, but you know, it was a bit of a situation because obviously Ptolemy can't recall things very easily, so he had to kind of tell the cops what his relationship was with Hilliard because it didn't look like a normal situation, to be honest. And what's wild is that while they were wrong in that case, they weren't wrong. This little nigga's a fucking thief, a dirty ass, bitch ass thief. There's no other way to say it, bro. Because when he goes to cash his checks, right, he gets 3 checks every month or every week. That's right, every week. All right, he gets a retirement thing. He gets severance for the post office, and then like death benefits for his wife. Passed, I guess, a long time ago. And he gets $300 a week. This nigga goes to the bank, cashes his checks. Hilliard holds on to his money or whatever, and he ends up taking like $200 from this nigga. It's really wild. And he actually loans a lady named Mrs. Ring. He loans her $50 because she had to pay a bill and her social security hadn't come in or whatever. Honestly, I thought she was a fucking fraud. I thought she was some scamming ass lady. And good on Ptolemy. Good on Ptolemy. You better than me because my ass would have been like, I'm sorry. No, thank you. Sorry, I can't help you. All right. And because she even offered to barter a ring of hers and stuff like that. And that meant a whole lot to her, but he wouldn't take it, stuff like that. And he actually kind of knows that Hilliard took the money from him, but he's so confused that it's like, okay, just a couple minutes later, he kind of forgets about it. Now they're taking him to go see Reggie. That's what he keeps on saying to him and stuff like that. And he's like, he keeps on asking, well, where's Reggie? Where's Reggie? He's like, we're going to go see him. We're going to go see him. So they get over to Nisi's house. And there's a whole bunch of people there, stuff like that. And as you can assume what has happened, obviously tragedy, bro. It's tragedy because Reggie was shot and killed. And it's a wild scene that happens at the very end of the first episode, how it breaks down. He goes into the house. He doesn't know anybody there. He barely recognizes Nisi. And then there's a little girl named Robin who is staying with them, stuff like that. And, you know, it's a funeral. But he doesn't realize that yet. So he's like trying to get a plate. He drops the plate, gets another plate. And he's over there eating. And Robin says something so crazy because it's wild how her relationship with him changes, especially towards the end of these 4 episodes or whatever. Because she's like, look at that dirty pig over there. It doesn't even know where the fuck he is. It's like, wow. That is so disrespectful. I don't know what's wrong with these young niggas. No respect whatsoever. I know I sound like, yay kids, get off my lawn. Yeah, I know I sound like that, all right? But, like, goddamn, like, have some respect, my nigga. Like, he's trying, like, he don't even know where the hell he at, right? And then after he eats or whatnot, and then they lead him into the room, and he finally sees Reggie. And it's a wild scene, dog. Samuel L. just got chops, bro. He's got major chops because it brought a tear to my eye. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen to me. I'm sorry. It really don't. So it was rough, but such a good episode. I mean, like, and he breaks down, and then Robin can see how genuine he is, and he makes a promise towards the end that he's gonna find who did this to Reggie, because now he's seeing him as like a vision also, with a fucking bullet hole in his face, and just like how he sees Coy Dog, obviously, who had died years on years before, and that's his uncle, right? So he takes in the little girl Robin into his home, and they don't know each other at all. So it is kind of wild. But the reason why that happens is because she's staying over at Nisi's house, and then I guess the morning after the funeral or something like that, this nigga Hilliard comes into the living room when she's sleeping on the sofa, and he looks like he's about to go and get him a feel, go take advantage of a young defenseless girl while she sleeps. Good thing that she was sleeping with a knife under her pillow and then held that nigga at knife point when she woke up because he was about to grab on her and stuff. Like, he didn't actually get the grab on her. His excuse was he came in there to grab a blanket. But my nigga, like, she wasn't even sleeping with a blanket. Like, what the fuck is you talking about? Like, just so full of lies. This nigga is so creditless. And it's crazy because even with Samuel L. in his state that he's in, Coy Dog, as a vision, is telling him, like, something ain't right with that boy. And he's, like, talking off to him and stuff like that. And then, like, Hilliard would ask questions like, who you talking to? Stuff like that. So it's like, you can see why people think that he just completely lost it. Which, for the most part, he has. To be real, he has. But it's wild because his mind's trying to tell him things, but he just can't figure out exactly how it's trying to tell him that, right? And so Robin comes over, and she's obviously not going to stay in the place if it's looking like that. So she starts cleaning up, and he feels like he has everything where it needs to be, just so he knows where things are, and he don't want to lose anything, but he's hoarding and stuff and things like that. So she cleans up the whole house. She gets all his stuff back in order, and then they find the note that was left by Reggie right before he didn't come back, about the latest doctor's appointment that he has set for him. Now, this doctor is some specialist, big time doctor, highly recommended. It's my nigga Boyd from Justified, but no, but it's Walter Goggins, he's a sick actor too, and he's playing this doctor who specializes in, like, experimental treatment of Alzheimer's care, stuff like that, right? And so his normal memory care doctor recommended that they go see him because they went and saw him in the first episode and stuff, right? So they go and see this dude, and he ends up making the choice to go ahead and take the drug because he wants to try and piece together what happened to Reggie in order to find out who killed him, and also to recover a treasure that he had lost or forgotten about that Coy Dog left to him when he was a boy. And it sounds like some, obviously it's far-fetched because we don't have nothing anywhere close to the level that they display in this show, but this drug literally brings this nigga back all the way, dog. It's really crazy because he couldn't remember anything before, dog. Like nothing. And then now all of a sudden he can name 260 something people in the town he was living in at a certain age, and he knows the people, the neighbors on the street he had and stuff like that, and who did what. And he could recall the smallest details and all this stuff, and he's getting his memory back slowly but surely. And it's wild because he's actually in a race against time. He has to figure out who's done what to his nephew and try and bring him to justice, dog, because he doesn't have much time, because when the drug wears out, he will more than likely be worse than he even was in the first place. So it's really just a ticking time bomb, man. And we don't even know how much definitive time he has. It seems like he has an idea that it's only going to be like, I only got a few more days. I got like a week or something left. That's what I'm assuming, or maybe a couple weeks. But it seems like that's the max that he's got at best. So he's trying to piece things together. He's talking to detectives and things like that because this little nigga Hilliard is over here speaking fucking secrets and lines, twisting truths and shit like that over here to his mother, who is, my goodness, what is wrong with you, woman? What is wrong with you? You would believe this delinquent ass nigga talking about, oh, that Robin, she's up to something, mama. She over there staying with Papa Gray now, with Uncle Papa Gray. It's like, my nigga, you don't care nothing about that old man. And now that you find out that this nigga's got some money, and it's rumors that he has a whole bag of cash in his room or whatever, all right? These are rumors. He's like, oh, you gotta go over there. He's living in Ville. You gotta drag him up out of there. And I'm just so glad that those motherfuckers walked up in there and found out not a goddamn thing. And this nigga is actually getting back in his right mind and all that. And he's giving them the business. He's just addressing the cops and the social worker dude that's employed by the city to come check up on the welfare of the elderly. I understand the need for a job like that, but if you come and see somebody and they're clearly in their right mind, you have no more grounds to be there. And this black nigga had the audacity to question Samuel. He's like, well, why would your niece have any reason to lie? All she's trying to do is look out for the well-being and the property and stuff like that of her dear uncle. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm sure she is. And if y'all was to find something was wrong with me and take me away, I guess she would receive all of my property and my wares and stuff like that, wouldn't she? Yeah, didn't have shit to say then, did you, bitch? Yeah, motherfucker. Ah, god damn. Why has it got to be us? All right, nah, but it's just like, I understand they're doing a job. I understand that. But fuck you, Niecy, and fuck you, Hilliard, you little money-grabbing bitch. All you are trying to do is steal from niggas. Steal from people some more. And after that, he goes over to their house. He goes over to their house and he lays into him. And he said, boy, you steal from me? And he denied it in front of his mama. And he just, number one, he got on both their ass like hard about all that. Because he knows that his nephew, his niece, Niecy, is, her heart's in the right place. But number one, Hilliard's whispering in a motherfucking ear of nonsense when this nigga's a fucking degenerate. No question about it. And then she will take his money and all that and put him in a home and think she's doing the right thing for him and spend up all his money. Now, your heart can be in the right place, but that, I don't know. That just seems Like, you only got your own interests at heart. Okay, so she seems nice, but can't trust nobody like that. Especially when they're enabling a fucking dirty ass little nigga like Hilliard to stay in his home. Number one, he stole from his own family, like off the top. And he says, boy, come out to the porch with me right quick. Let me rap to you right quick. He's like, did you do it? And he immediately fesses up when he's out of earshot of mom, because this nigga lost all the bass in his voice. I guess his nuts really hadn't dropped like he thought they had. Oh, it just makes me fucking sick. I didn't think it was a bad thing. Like, it wasn't gonna do you any good. Like, I didn't think you could even count. And he's like, did you really think it was okay to steal from somebody just because they didn't know you were doing it? He was like, well, yeah. And he was like, my God, boy. He just walked away. He had nothing to say. He was like, oh, I'm sorry for... It's like, dude, shut the fuck up, all right? No one wants to hear from you again, all right? But the more he's, the more time is passing, the more memories and stuff is coming back to him and all that, right? And so the one other thing he had to do is try and figure out where is the treasure that his uncle Coy Dog had left him. And you actually get to see Coy Dog lead him to a certain place where he had stashed the treasure, and then he actually remembers later on where he had hid the treasure in his apartment. And that has to do with Cynthia, his wife. She had a whole wild little... They met in kind of a wild way also, right? And it kind of ties in, but at the same time, it really doesn't. But he actually watches his uncle Coy Dog get lynched and burned alive. And it's really wild that was the case. But he did steal from these people. And so they were enacting their own sense of justice. Obviously, it's in the rural South. They were doing shit like that back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And I think it was like the 1930s or something like that. So obviously, you know, you kind of do what you want in the Deep South if you were of a certain skin tone. Obviously, we all know this. But it was crazy because, you know, they were intimidating him, all this other stuff, and then they put the noose on him, put him up on a barrel, poured kerosene on him and stuff like that, and then they accidentally lit it on fire too soon. He was like, stop it, you idiots. I want to keep him alive until I know where my stuff is. And then he was like, I got you. And boy, he kicked off that kerosene onto all them people and roasted all them niggas alive. In the process, he knocked over the barrel, which he intended to do, because he was like, fuck it. If I'm going to die, I'm going to take all you motherfuckers with me. And I respect it. So clearly you're seeing Ptolemy's been through traumatic shit, like from a young age. And that shapes the person who he is today. But then he has this question. And he goes back and he asks the doctor later. Because he's like, is there a possibility that I was just so scared of what I knew that I chose to forget? And he was like, you know, only time will tell, I guess. But we know what the truth is on that one. You know, it's like, maybe subconsciously your mind was trying to push it aside, and then disease just, you know, sped up the process, things like that. It's a wild interaction between him and the doctor, because he literally calls this nigga Satan. He literally does. Because, well, he's like, he has no interest in your soul, obviously, but he is his whole purpose, obviously, is to, this whole experimental trial is designed with, like, the greatest doctors all across the world. He's working with all of them, stuff like that, in order to come up with a new trial and a new drug that can cure Alzheimer's and stuff for the world. And based on the people that he's trying this on right now, that's going to create the drug that actually achieves that goal. And he's like, he's never seen an individual like Ptolemy Gray. And they have actually played up a little bit how he is kind of different than most people, because as an elderly person, your wounds heal slower and things like that than most people, especially people of a normal age, you know, between 25 and then let's say 55, something like that, right? You heal slower as you get older because your immune system slows down, things wear out. Well, he had burned himself like at some point, before the first episode started. And in the first episode, when he goes to see the doctor, he's like, "Man, that burn should have kept you out for weeks, and it's fine in a few days." So he definitely has a higher recovery rate than most people. And the doctor says apparently on his scans that he's much more advanced than anybody else they've ever seen, and that this experiment is taken to him like wildfire compared to most. But that's also the downside. That's why he really can't predict the time in which it's going to end, because it could literally be gone, in a few days from now. You know what I'm saying? Because it's working so well for him that the downside is he's probably going to get the come down just as hard. So it's wild stuff going on in the show. Just if you had a chance to go back and try and remember your life to save, I mean not save because the person's already gone, but to avenge or do right by your family, even when they're not there to defend themselves, like I gotta respect that, because in a sense, everybody else in the family is like, well, there's nothing to look for. Maybe you're wasting your time. Maybe you're wasting your precious time, the new time that you have when you could be doing something else and spending time with your family, stuff like that. You're wasting it trying to look for answers that aren't there. But come on, bro, be real. Be real. This nigga got shot in the face by somebody he knows. He's gone out and he's talked to detectives. He's talked to homeless people and went and shared drink with them out on the street to show that he's a real nigga, dog. And he's trying to find the person that killed his nephew and do right by his family, because he does end up finding the treasure that Coy Dog left him in his fucking doubloons. And, it's really wild because, number one, Cynthia, I know he liked to buy you gifts and stuff like that when y'all was together and things like that, but how the hell he was spending several coins on you and buying lavish gifts, like when each of those coins is worth $50,000 a piece? That's fucking crazy. It's crazy, right? And I will say, Cynthia, you can get it, girl. Yeah, we like that. But all right, but it shows a young Samuel L. where he's out running in the park, something like that. And I guess he comes across some picnic and a bunch of people having a cookout, and he sees her, and then he's sitting down reading the book like a cultured man, and then she comes over, starts sparking up conversation. You could tell instantly there was chemistry, no doubt about it. But then her man walks up and comes and grabs her by her arm and leads him away. He looks like he's got a temper or whatever, right? It seems very apparent. And then it was like all of a sudden, next scene, she's in his house on top of him, stuff like that. And she was like, well, I at least waited 3 days after I broke up with him. That way I wouldn't be called a slut, basically. And so she was not really going to waste no time. She was going to go get with Ptolemy, and that was going to be it. And then this nigga comes and pulls up, and he starts beating the fuck out of Ptolemy or whatever. And she pulls out the gun and is like, don't you hit him again. And he was like, what the fuck is you going to do? She shoots the floor, and she was like, you got one more time. And then he goes and tries it again. And then she starts shooting at this nigga. Boom, boom, boom. This nigga falls on the floor out in the hallway. She about to fucking lay him down. And Ptolemy stops her, and he gets away or whatever. So I highly, highly doubt that it's him. We don't have any confirmation what happened to him. But she was like, why didn't you let me finish it? And he was like, there was no need for that. We're good. And then obviously, their love story ensues. We don't really know how she died. I think she died from cancer or something like that. But he loved the woman. He really, really did. They had a unique relationship or whatever. I don't really feel like commenting on that too much, because it almost seemed like they kind of had a bit of an open relationship where she was, had a good time with other females, and then probably a couple men also on the side, which is kind of fucked up, because this nigga Ptolemy did have one side thing once, and he said he did it once, And then he never did it again after that because she kicked this nigga out, and then 2 hours later she came and found him and was like, I'd rather die than be apart. So that shows the relationship right there. And then when Robin asked him back, like, did she show the same kind of courtesy to you when you said that you would never look at another woman after that? And he didn't even reply. So that leads me to believe that she wasn't very faithful, but he just accepted who she was. Better than me. Better man than me. You know, I'm all about being educated 21st century man. I get it. But yeah, I don't know, bro. I can't share like that. Maybe with the females, but I guess that's just the toxicity in me. You get me, son. All right. But yeah, so that's pretty much the whole rundown of just all 4 episodes of this first half of the season. Then he goes and he sees Reggie's friend, and he gets a last piece of information that a couple people kind of told him, because it was Niecy and then also Reggie's friend that kind of let it be known that Niecy's ex, who had been sentenced to 20 years in prison and got out in 12, had recently gotten out for all this. And the one thing that Reggie had talked to him, he tried to tell him right before he left for that last time. He tried to tell him, like, I'm having issues and I don't really know who else to talk to, Uncle. But, you know, what if you were going to lose everything and lose your family and your kids? What would you do? And stuff like that. And then he brought up how, you know, her ex has gotten out and he's been contacting her and stuff like that. And he was just thinking, well, maybe if I pack him up and then we head out of town, like, you know, leave town and move somewhere else. He can't leave Atlanta. That would violate his probation or whatever. And then we would be safe. Obviously, he never got a chance to do that. And then right after he tells him all that, he's like, looking at him, he's like, Unc, you still with me? And it's so sad because you see it happening in the first episode that, like, he just starts fading off, dog. And it's like, he don't hear him at all. He's in a whole other place. Well, it turns out he did hear him. Like, in his mind, it's there. And that's what's crazy about this drug. He's recalling stuff that really no one would be able to. Like, it's like, your mind, open your mind. Like, for real. That's what's going on right now. But he goes and he sees Reggie's friend. He's like, okay, that's good information. He's like, well, what are you going to do, Mr. Gray? He said, well, he leans back. I'm going to kill the motherfucker. That's what I'm like, damn. My nigga. Yeah. No, but it's like that. It's like that. We got to set things right. And he's doing right by his family. Even still, he's basically making Robin the signator that's controlling all the money. And he's going to make checking accounts and stuff for Niecy, even Hilliard. Even though he also scammed Reggie and then his friend and was supposed to give them money that Niecy gave to him. So it's like, this thing is scum. Every time he's got a chance at money or a woman, it's like, my goodness, my boy. Please tell me you're not such an idiot and such a delinquent. Like, my God, learn from your mistakes. Please. But I can't stress enough, Samuel L. is on fire in this show. On fire. It's just gonna make it more gut-wrenching, dog, when this nigga loses all of his memory. Because you know that it's coming. You know that it's coming. And it's gonna be rough to watch. But I'm here for it. I'm here for it because this nigga's acting his fucking ass off. Okay? Shout out to Apple TV for coming with the heat. Go watch the show, man. Go watch the show right now. Right now, if we're, 8 episodes, if that's what we're looking at, because it seems like it's going to be, one season, one shot done. We're looking pretty good right now. I'm not going to put a rating out yet, because obviously we saved those for the end. But if I was to give a range, we are good to great right now. Good to great. So we're doing pretty good. I'll definitely say that. The only thing I wish we had was a couple more people to kind of come along and it really hit them levels with Samuel L. But, Robin's enjoyable to watch and stuff like that. So, but it's nice to just really focus on him because this come down is going to be crazy. And him and his dynamic with his doctor, he calls him Satan. It's like they have big time conversations, and it's wild because he is giving this nigga authorization to have his body after he's taking this drug and stuff like that. So when he starts going, he's basically resigning himself over to them. He gets to live out the rest of his days. It's gonna be interesting to see. But let me know what you thought about the show. If you've watched it, let me know. Are you watching anything else from Apple right now? Or what other great shows are you locking into? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe. This has been your boy T-Rav, and I'm out. Yeah.